Good morning, everybody. Should have got my camera ready before this, but we'll do it now. There we go. All right, so what am I going to be talking about today? This is kind of a general theme that I've been on lately, but I really just want to keep on hammering it because it is so important and it is so misunderstood by most women. Women just don't get it. And to help women understand, okay, I really want women to understand this point. So we're going to talk about a woman's feelings, okay? Because what men often don't understand, we're going to help build some empathy here. Men often don't understand how important it is to care about a woman's feelings, and to hear her out, right? And hold space for her feelings, really listen, and really show a woman that he cares, right? And I used to be this way as well as a man, where my wife would express her feelings. And it's like her feelings. It wasn't actually vulnerable, but she was trying, right? She was trying. So I'm not going to fault her for that. And I would often be dismissive as a man, right? And the main reason I was being dismissive was because it wasn't truly vulnerable. So it was harder for me to receive as a man. When my wife does that now, I can lead her into being vulnerable because I understand how important it is for her to feel heard and to feel cared for. So I do that now, even if she doesn't really express in a way that's really easy for me to receive, right? But what I used to do before, and a lot of men do, is kind of be dismissive and say something like, oh, you shouldn't feel that way, or like, that's not a big deal, or you're too sensitive, or, just let it go, whatever, right? Like that hurts a woman, right? That really hurts a woman. But I, as a man, didn't get that, right? I didn't understand how much that can really hurt. And like most men don't get that either, right? Because we can't, it's hard to put ourselves in the other gender's shoes. Okay, that's what it's really about. And the reason I'm harping on that is because I'm going to tell you as a woman, right? Not me as a woman, but you as a woman, what it is like to be in a man's shoes. Because for a man, what we really need is to be able to lead everything. Okay, this is not some cultural programming BS that a lot of people will, like, it's all cultural and like, oh my God, just no. This is instinctual. This is something that it's biological. We are programmed this way, and you cannot unprogram it. You can definitely cover it up with wounding, right? But and so, for example, like here's a perfect example with myself and my wife. Earlier in our marriage, I had some wounding around really that made it basically really difficult for me to want to devote to her fully, right? To really be able to give myself to her as a man, devote my masculine energy to her, to really serve her. And because of that, when she would do things like when she would kind of lead and say like, hey, can you do this, or please do this, or take the trash out, or can you please clean the sink, or all that kind of stuff, that was mildly annoying. It's not like I liked, oh my God, thank you so much for asking me to take out the trash. Like, so it was mildly annoying, but there was just that. It's like, oh, whatever, I can brush that off. Not a big deal. And it's not like she was doing that all the time, right? Like she should sometimes step into that leading role, right? But at least most of the time I was still in that leading role. So it wasn't that terrible. But once I fully became devoted for her and I really healed that last wound, now when she does that, when she tries leading me in any way, it's actually more hurtful for me, right? Whenever she tries leading in any way, it is like being stabbed in the heart. Like it's not like I'm gonna break down and cry or anything, but it's like it is a form of disrespect. Like, why would you try to lead me when I am fully devoted to you? Why would you do that? right? I already love you. I will already do anything for you. You don't have to lead me in any way. All you have to do is communicate what your problem is. All you have to do is communicate how you feel. I'll take care of anything for you. So it is received as a huge form of disrespect. And yes, it's like, can you please take the garbage out? It seems like such a, like, why would a man ever care? Like, especially when I ask nicely. But he does, especially when he's devoted, right? In the same kind of way, probably not as emotionally difficult to deal with, but it is kind of in the same way as when a man communicates that he doesn't care about how a woman feels, right? So women have really got to understand this. And I have, like, I'm working with a client right now, a man who is actually, like, I can feel his heart. Like, he is truly feel like has that devotion. This is a guy, has that devotional energy for his woman. And his woman just will not let him lead. Like, every time that he tries, she just tries to keep the control of things, right? And it's fear, right, that's stopping her from really letting go and just letting him lead. But it kills a man inside when a woman does that, right? Like, it really, really hurts. And thankfully, I've never been in that situation where a woman would never let me lead at all. Like, that's not, that would be soul crushing. Though I can, if it's a man, or sorry, if it's a woman that you truly love and care for and are devoted to, and she is trying to control everything and not let you lead, that would be devastating. I don't know how I could even emotionally handle that. My issues are much less than that, where it's just, women or my wife who will sometimes say, like, hey, can you take the trash out, or can you, like, whatever. And I'm like, no, I don't want to respond to that. I don't want you to be leading in any way. So we have to work on feminine communication. But for me, it's not a huge deal, because I know exactly how to lead my woman to be expressing in a way that I really want to receive, where I feel truly devoted to her. But for men who don't know that, right? It's like, yes, in an ideal world, they are extremely strong in their masculinity, and they know how to stay in control, and they know how to lead a woman to express in a feminine way and be vulnerable and all that great stuff. That's a really nice fantasy world that I'd love to live in, but we don't live in that, and we're not going to live in that anytime soon. And so, well, I mean, if more men work with Mark David and I, then sure. But we're definitely not anywhere close to there yet. And what a woman can really do is learn to guide a man into his leadership, to inspire him to strengthen himself, right, for his woman. But that requires really understanding feminine communication. That really means knowing how to be vulnerable and be willing to be vulnerable at all times, right? This whole mentality of, like, waiting around for a man to prove himself before a woman is willing to be vulnerable or start letting go of control, fuck that. It's like the equivalent is, oh, you know what? I'm not gonna, like, as a man, I'm not gonna be devotional to you or any way, or give a shit about you unless you're able to be fully submissive and fully vulnerable before I even start caring. Right? That's the equivalent, and that's how hurtful it is, and ridiculous it is. It really is ridiculous. It's like, no, if you love your partner, even if they're not perfect, even if they have flaws, even if, they get angry and have unhealthy coping strategies, if they are demonstrating effort, to change, then you try to do your best for them. That's what love is, right? You don't hold back. You don't wait for somebody to prove themselves before you can start treating them in the way that they need, right? And so for women, if you're not going to let And this is not to say like, oh, women should be like submit to absolutely anything that a man says to do when he hasn't proven that he is that he's devoted and really is leading in her best interest. No, I'm not saying that. I'm definitely not saying that, because that's really dangerous. What I am saying though is that a woman shouldn't be leading her man in any way, no matter what, because that is disrespect to a man. So saying, can you take the garbage out, please? That is disrespect to a man. So if you don't know how to respect a man, you are going to be hurting the person that you care about when you try to get your needs met. Every time you try to do that, every time you try to assert yourself, and yes, I get that you're trying to get your needs met, but you're doing it in a masculine way that's disrespecting him. So you are hurting him, and you are hurting the relationship. If you care about the relationship, if you care about your man, then you're going to get this area of your life handled. You're going to learn feminine communication. You're going to learn how to be vulnerable. Just like if a man really cares about his woman, he's going to learn how to friggin' lead. He's going to learn how to be a man. He's going to learn how to, strengthen himself and center his emotions and make his woman feel safe, right? That's what love is. Let's see if I got any questions here to answer. Would it be better to say, can you help me with this? Well, no, because that's still leading. If you use the word you're leading. You can say, can I have some help? That's very energetically different. I see what you're trying to do. So you're close there, but focus on you. Don't focus on what he needs to do. Focus on what you need. I am really looking forward to finally finding someone to date and then having you as a resource to guide how to communicate and uplift my future man to be the leader he wants. I'm very looking forward to that too, Cass. You just let me know when that man comes. Yeah. So that's kind of the gist of this. So feminine communication, it needs to be taught. If you want to get yourself in a place where it's like, I don't want to ever disrespect my man again. I want to learn how to inspire my man to be totally devoted to me. Those are good relationship goals, right? If you don't have those relationship goals as a woman, well, maybe you need to rethink your priorities. I know as a man, my top priority is in my relationship is I don't want my woman to ever feel disrespected. I want to make her feel fully loved as a woman. I will do absolutely anything to do that. And that's why, I very quickly got to a point where I started coaching this stuff because I'm obsessed with it. As soon as I realized how much I was hurting my wife by not treating her the way that she needed, by not being the man that she needed, I started doing everything I possibly could to become that man. Why? Because I fucking love her, right? I'll do anything for her. And so, you know what? It bothers me. It bothers me that people claim to love their partner and then don't do absolutely everything that they possibly could to show that love. It's like, yeah, you have your limiting beliefs about yourself, you have your traumas, you have all that stuff. But if there's something that you can do to become a better partner and make them feel loved and make them feel respected, are you doing it? Because if you're not doing it, then do you actually love your partner, or are you just full of shit? Right? This is a big deal. This is a really big deal. And I take it really seriously because I deal with clients, right? Like both men and women, and I see how much they're hurting. And it's because the other partner is not, doesn't really take this stuff seriously, right? And you know what? Honestly, I have a lot more empathy for people who don't know anything about this masculine feminine stuff, and they're just stuck because they're completely stuck, right? They're clueless. They're completely ignorant. And so, okay, I have empathy for that. I have empathy for ignorance. I've been ignorant before. and I didn't know what to do about it. And I felt powerless because I was ignorant. But if you have come across this masculine, feminine stuff, you're not, well, it's not that you're not ignorant anymore, but you know how to not be ignorant. You know that there are resources available to not be ignorant. You know that there's resources available to get this area of your life fully handled so that you're never hurting your partner again. You're no longer making them feel like shit. And so so really, I want you to ask yourself, why are you not using those resources, right? Why are you just floundering and just kind of not doing everything that you absolutely can to be the best possible partner that you can be, whether you're a man or a woman, right? Why are you not doing every single thing? If you actually love your partner, why are you not doing it? Yeah, I'm calling people out right now because people need to be called out. If you want to get this area of your life handled, start by going to relationshipofyourdreams.com and start learning this stuff. Learn how to treat a man like a man. Learn how to treat a woman like a woman so that you're no longer hurting each other's feelings, right? So you're now loving each other the way that both of you are supposed to be loved. And so, you know, I guess in a lot of my videos, I've focused a lot on like, oh, what you're going to get out of this, right? Like, you know, a woman, you can inspire your man to be totally devoted. That's awesome. Like, if that's like, that should be a big part of your motivation, of course, because that's really awesome, right? My motivation as a man, though, that wasn't it, right? It's like, it wasn't like, oh, I got to learn this stuff so my woman can like be super submissive to me and do whatever I want and give me blowjobs all the time or whatever. No, my motivation, and like I'm emotional about this, like I can feel it, is when I saw how much I hurt her the first time when she was fully vulnerable with me, and I saw all of the pain that I'd caused because of my ignorance as a man, by not understanding this masculine and feminine polarity. I'm like, fuck, like I do not want to ever make my wife feel like that again, ever. And I will do absolutely anything to make her feel loved all the time, right? And so that's my mindset. My mindset is, you know, like I did this for love. I did this 100% for love. And if you really love your partner, then do the same thing. Use the resources that you have available and do the work. Do the work if you really love them. Like I'm serious about this. So this is, I suppose, like I'm giving you like an altruistic message here instead of a more like, you know, this is what you do to get everything you want, right? What I wanted, because, you know, I mean, I guess it's selfish in a way though, right? Because what I wanted is my woman to feel loved. That's what I wanted. And so that's what I did. And learning about, you know, masculine and feminine energy and masculine and feminine communication, that's what's going to get you that result, whether you're a man or a woman. That is the answer that you've been looking for. That can fix, I mean, like it fixes a lot of problems. First of all, it's going to get your man or woman to feel fully loved and respected. On top of that, it's going to fix all of your relation problems so that there's no more arguing, there's no more conflict, there's no more hurt feelings, there's just intimacy and love. Like, it's just, let's go. Let's get these problems solved. Let's just start changing yourself and change the world, and change your relationship, because this is how you do it. And yes, it's hard. Yes, it takes courage. Yes, it means facing a lot of your own bullshit and your own pain. And yes, that's difficult. But the reward of having a partner that you love feel so good about themselves, and also you feeling so good about yourself, and just not having these stupid issues anymore, it's worth it. It is so well worth it. Like, oh my God. Listen, you know, I make a 6-figure income right now. I would, if I knew this, if I knew how life-changing this stuff would be years ago, and I knew it's like, how much money would I pay? I would pay $500,000, and which I don't have, but I would take the loan, like if that was the only way of getting it, right? Because I love my wife that much, right? I'd pay more if I could take out a bigger loan. But my point is that this stuff is priceless. Your partner feeling fully loved is priceless, or it should be. It is to me. Is it to you? Think about that. Stop wasting your time and figure this stuff out. This is tough love that I'm giving you right now. Stop wasting your time and get this area of your life handled. Get it handled. Either whatever your motivation is. You know what? If it's all about you, that's totally fine with me. Because even if it's all about you, you'll end up getting the results for your partner anyway, right? So that altruistic outcome is going to be achieved. If it's all about your partner, like it was for me, that's also awesome. Either way, it's good because the problem gets solved. Whatever your motivation is, use it and make that decision. Make that decision to start doing everything to change. Take it really seriously. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty serious about this one today. Let's see if there's any more questions here. What about men that expect women to do everything, that aren't carrying their weight, even when you would put them above you? Okay, so that's a good question, right? Yeah, I'm going to do more videos about like women who are already doing way more than they should, right? They're submitting way more than a man's devoting. Listen, if you're already doing that, then well, first of all, make sure your feminine communication's handled. Second of all, we got to work on your self-worth issues, because you should not be submitting any more than a man's devoting. And if you do, you're communicating that you don't deserve better. And if that's an issue for you, we definitely handle all of that in our membership group as well. We go really deep into that, because I do not believe that a woman should ever be submitting more than a man is considering her and devoting to her. That's super important, right? A lot of women end up hurting themselves really badly by doing that. And I'll get really passionate about that one too. Absolutely. That one bothers me. So yeah, absolutely. Self-worth is a big issue. And if that's your thing, then yeah, again, relationshipyourdreams.com. Let's fix those self-worth issues. Let's show you when you should be submitting and when you should not be, right? When you should be honoring yourself and honoring your feelings, because you owe that to yourself, right? You love your partner, but you need to be able to love yourself just as much. You're just as important in the equation. And if your partner is not showing you that, well, that might be because you're disrespecting him in some way, right? For example, by not communicating respect, trying like leading him in a way that you're not even aware of. Or it could be because he just doesn't respect you very much, because honestly, you don't respect yourself. Because if you're submitting to undevoted leadership, well, what is that communicating about your self-worth? Yeah. Is feminine communication speaking vulnerable from the heart 24/7? My husband does love it and comes closer to me in every way. It's just hard when my pride gets in the way. Vulnerability is a huge part of feminine communication. Absolutely. And I would say it's definitely the most important part, but it's definitely not all of it. There's a lot more to it. For example, if you want a coffee, right? And you're not going to say like, oh, I feel so sad that I don't have my coffee. Unless you're an extremely emotional person, then you're probably just manipulating there. So yes, there's a lot more to it. But if you get the vulnerability piece really dialed in, then you are definitely ahead of the game. And you just got to keep pushing through that fear. All right, I think I've talked long enough for this one. So end message: if you love yourself, if you love your partner, start doing this work. Relationshipyourdreams.com. That's the best way to get started and really fix this stuff. If you love yourself, right? And you are compromising yourself in some way, since I talked about this at the end, you know, it's the exact same thing, right? This is what benefits both partners so much. It is so life-changing. You want to change your life, you want to change your love life, you want to make sure that your partner never feels disrespected or hurt again, you want to make sure that you don't feel disrespected or hurt again. It's all the same thing. relationshipyourdreams.com. I will see you there.